ponds, you know, they're a little bit creepy whenever you see them in a TV, you know, murder mystery. There's going to be a dead hand coming out of them. Why do you like them?
Why do I like them?
Yeah.
Well, I like them because of the creatures they have. I've always loved frogs, always loved newts as a child, grown up with newts and frogs. But I thought, I know a lot about ponds, and how little I knew, I didn't realise just how important they were and how much we're losing them. Now, consider we were losing ponds at the fastest rate ever, about 9,000 a year. A few years ago, we had the Million Pond Project, which was fronted by Alan Titchmarsh and Pond Conservation with Jeremy Biggs. And that was to put 1 million ponds back into this country, which is what we've lost. Ponds are the most important habitat we have on the planet. This pond here, the life it supports, it could have up to 3,000 species supported by this one pond. I mean, you think oak tree, I think there's up to 2,000. So that's more than an oak tree. And when you start looking at the flora and the fauna that we have lost, we're putting them back. And it's the most wonderful job. I mean, what's better than, you know, people sitting at a desk. I stand in mud in the middle of a pond on a lovely day with dragonflies on my shoulders.
So for you, ponds aren't a place of death and decay, they're a place of kind of vibrancy and life.
They are a place of life. Basically, they are life. They are, you know, you think what actually drinks water, and then you start adding up the species. You know, we have bats that will use a pond to come and have a drink. We've got bees who will leave their beehives and come and have a drink. And they all need water. You know, badgers, foxes, deer, the number of species that come to a pond for a drink is immense. Let alone the insect life.
You mentioned something about a crossing. How much do you think, if we had our ponds back in the way that you'd like to see them, what would it mean for our wildlife?
Tenfold. Well, it's now the recent study done by Pond Conservation that a pond like this, which, as you can see, is devoid of any aquatic life in plant life. There is no aquatic life, no native species here at all at the moment. I think we've got one, actually, irises that are just starting to grow again. Apart from that, there's
plants and animals.
Now, we think every aquatic plant has a species of life that goes with it.
Right.
Now, we know from climate change and whatever's happening around the planet, we know we're losing species at a fast rate. Having a pond back in balance with the right plants back in it, we are increasing species. Now, Pond Conservation have done this study over the last 10 years that by replanting a pond like this, you can increase overall biodiversity to this area by 33%.
Right, so it has a kind of hinterland effect.
So it's a hinterland effect.
It's not just
so having this pond connecting, and then you think like great crested newts, which is our most protected species in Europe, with all the housing that is needed and happening and going on land and farmland, this is the last bastion they've got.
We need to be a pond appreciating society.
We need to be a much greater pond appreciating. There is a lot of people who like ponds now, you know, and you know, everybody has a garden pond. A pond can be very small. You know, a washing up bowl is a pond. It doesn't have to be the nice size of this one. It can be a very small object.
You'll be glad to hear that I did build a pond in my garden in the last couple of years.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So
Do
I get
you put
your
liner
blessing.
or clay, or is it?
No, it's basically a semicircle.
Right, lovely.
Like that.
Good to know that shape. Yep.
And it's concrete, painted concrete.
Oh right, painted concrete. Right. Okay.
you look like I've done the wrong thing. I mean, I did try and.
Has it got shelves in it? You've got plants in?
It's got plants in. It's got
some shelves.
Bricks in at different heights and shelves like
Brilliant.
that. It's quite steep-sided though.
Yeah, that's the trouble. Steep-sided ponds. There is a criteria.
It's not very big. It's like 8. The sort of semicircle is about 8 meters down. Not 8 meters, 8 feet diameter.
Right, lovely. Well, it will still hold life. So
yeah,
that's
it does.
great. And it's for wildlife.
Yeah,
so
it's for wildlife
brilliant.
and appearance and general look in the garden.
The thing is, there is a certain criteria to ponds, and one thing I do when people ask me to build new ponds is, I will refuse to build a round pond. Right. The greater the number of edges, the greater the interest of wildlife, the greater the interest for us. So this one is a lovely shape because, as you can see, we've got in and out, undulating shapes around, and that is important. It's important because wildlife want gullies and
nooks and crannies.
Nooks and crannies, and different depths as well, varying depths as well, which is very good. So a lot of ponds we build, we do stepped edges. Stepped edges work well for people to get in and out of the pond, so they're good for safety, but they also work for different levels of plants to grow on without it being a steep sliding slope. where creatures, you know, roll to the bottom, sort of thing.
Right. But you want a kind of really complex sort of
the
messy
greater
edge.
the complex edge, the better. Yeah. Which is really good. Which is why we're again forming this with the hazel. We're not doing it in straight lines. We're trying to give some shapes to it, and doing a few shapes in it, so it makes more interest. And it's nice for people to come up to an edge of a pond and being able to get to the water edge and have water either side.
I think you're beginning to convert me. I find myself staring at it with the first.
You need to have a day coming in with us and get in the pond and get in there and learn the silt. That's the thing, and learn what actually goes in. Probably get away with it. You might get away with it on that end. It's only half up the wellies, so you should be alright. You might be alright. It holds in place. No, you can get the giraffe from over there, bring round. It's nice to have the shiny side again, so the shiny side at the back, I think. This is underlay, this is pond underlay. This is what we generally use for pond underlay.
Okay.
But we use it for this as well because it's extremely, very hard wearing, very strong, virtually like a type of Kevlar really.
And is the idea that it's going to stop the silt on this side moving into the pond?
That's right. That's right. Okay. So the idea is to be as a barrier. I'll cut this off here, but what we have to do, Nathan, we'll pull that up and cut it off again because we probably only need half this in there.
Cut it lengthways, you mean?
Yeah, we've got to cut it lengthways, I'm afraid.
So
it depends on the depth of a pond. Sometimes you've got to.
I like this. It's like an old-fashioned form of fencing, isn't it? It's like you would have kept stockade in the past. What are they?
They've become surprisingly sturdy, especially we've done habitat fences to this extent.
Yeah.
And diggers are colliding with them and not knocked them over.
Really?
So,
Right. If you get Aaron.
Yeah.
We'll pull the top up a bit and just hook it over the top a minute, and then we'll have to try and tuck the bottom in. That's where we need Aaron down the back, and then we'll have to cut it off. So
We go right to the.
we've got to go right to the base with it, and we do sort of an L shape to the base, so that when we put the silt in, it will actually it'll go on top. So
It's not really much to
just about work that will. Yeah, you might be able to stand on it, but it might be a bit too deep. I don't want you to get over your wellies and get your boots filled.
outside of the hazel you're fine.
It's, you need to cut that off.
If we wait until it's tapped in.
Yeah, we make sure it's packed right down. We have got. We can use this actually. We've got the gun.
Oh yeah, tools for the job.
I'm going to put the rake in there. See, we'll have you working, Tom. So we'll get you working on it. We've also got a bit of leeway then as well. Excellent. All coming together, our project comes together brilliantly. Now guys, you've got to get the buckets, we've got to put some silt in.
We will do some silt.
But I think Tom better be out of the way for that, because otherwise he'll be going home very dirty. but there may be a main point where it's actually. That's amazing what we can do. It's surprising how much. When you compare what we do,
Pete, would you be up for getting in the pond with the waders on? Would you be up for going in the pond?
I can, by all means.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'll have to change legs and put the other leg on.
We'll film that.
He's been going on about getting in all day.
That's fine. This is my other waterproof leg, which I wear in the ponds all the time. This is fiberglass held on by suction. So it's a suction socket leg, which is all right, but sometimes they do fall off in the pond. But this is the suction socket. I have to put another shoe on this one, so I've got a big shoe that I'll put on here. This will just to go over the waders to hold it on basically on the place. If I can get it on alright. I may even not wear it, but I'll try. I may not even wear that, it'll be easier actually without that. Now I think it's down low enough, I don't want to go any lower. I've got to get the nuts somewhere. This is a lot stiffer, this leg.
No, I noticed you're having to lift.
Yeah,
Doesn't look like it's only flex at all, you're literally walking stiff leg with it.
Yeah, it's only because what you do.
You don't have to shout, get a hand getting in. It's pretty obviously capable. But
No, that's all right. It's all right. It's quite used to doing that.
you really are a frog man.
I love it. I love it. It's his best job ever in my life. There's nothing.
You're
nothing
actually
better.
partly a physics.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I'll go out and do a bit. I have to pass these guys. Pass these guys.
Go
You pass us a bucket and I'll pass it.
You'll start the chain.
Okay, mate? Yes, okay. You just tell me when you want to stop.
Good man.
Some
Yeah,
bits.
it's giving me a pain. You couldn't do it. Yeah, facing this way. That's it.
I'm
Right.
gonna, and the good thing about this, look at this. Look
Look
at
at
that. Look at that
that
muck.
one,
Look. See, bad stuff that is. Bad stuff.
And the bad stuff's going on the outside, yeah?
Bad stuff going on the outside. But it is plant food, so once we get plants in there, of course that will make the
good
pond
stuff.
better. Already, look how far across the pond we've got already.
That plastic, yeah.
We've already got quite a lot of silt out already and
How
made the pond
how many bucket loads?
ecologically better.
Yeah. How many bucket loads do you reckon in total out of here to get to do the job?
To get this done, well, it's another whole day of silt removal.
Yeah, at least 1,000 buckets.
At least 1,000 buckets. We're probably going to move about 30 tonne out of this pond in total volume weight. So when you're putting the bucket in, you know when you've reached the base because you can't actually get it through any deeper, and you get the silt gets thicker. But that's only plant matter.
Yeah.
It's only leaves and plant matter. That's good. Where's Aaron? Where's no? You coming back in?
Well, I'm going to toddle off though now, so it's great
Well,
to see
lovely
you, and
to
I'll
see
see you
you.
again.
Brilliant.
I'll come back when it's clear.
Definitely come back and come and see it when it's done. And that'd be really good to see it, perhaps next year even, you know.
That'd be
Come
brilliant.
back and see what it is, maybe bring your waders and then come and join us.
I definitely want to see one of your kind of finished articles.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, get a feeling of what it is you're so passionate about. To see one that's just.
We have lots of ponds for you to see, so
Yeah.
I'm sure, you know, this year is early in the year yet. We've got plenty we can look at.
Be the year of the pond.
So we can keep you very busy.
Very good.
No
I'm talking
worries.
to busy. I'm going to leave you to it.
What a lovely day, what a lovely day to be in a pond. And the best thing is, look at that lovely muck being got rid of. Getting rid of that and making the pond better. That is what it's all about.
Go on, mate.
Improving that habitat. Brilliant. Thank you, Tom, for coming. Presents for Tom for coming down today. Homemade sloe gin.
If only
This
all
year.
the people I talked to gave me a bit of neat alcohol.
You should worth having a sip. You know, it's worth
I'm
having a
going to
sip.
cast it right now.
You can have a sip
I'm
right
gonna do
now.
it. I am
Just
going to do it right
tell
now.
me, you know, see what you think. Let's just see what you
It's
think.
going to get right down to the
It
toes.
is,
That's
it
going
is.
to warm me up.
Remember, it is. My sister drinks it with lemonade, but I think it spoils it. I
Do
think-
you? Okay,
I
here we
think
go.
Should we just like that?
Yeah, I do.
Good. We'll
I
keep
do.
the bottle when it's empty. Bring it back, and I'll refill it for you.
That's a deal.
Okay.
Some of it's gone down my chin, I have to say. But some did make it into my mouth as well. But, oh, that's nice.
Good. Spade's got one. That's got
so I could.
Yeah, we put that back in. It's all right, we've got it tied up anyway.
Do we need any? Did you get the hammer?
I'm not saying ponds aren't important, but you've distracted me now with all this. Excuse me.
It's wooden.
Yeah, all the way.
Well, fiberglass, yeah, to the top. It's fiberglass.
Goes from one finger into the other.